King of the Hill is one of those shows that makes you appreciate the simpler things in life. What's there to say about it that hasn't been said already? It's a show about the life and times of a man and his family and friends in Texas. But even with that simple premise, it ended up being one of my favorite cartoon shows of all time. And it's easy to see why. With its subdued nature, both in humor and the situations seen in any given episode, there's a comfort not usually seen in cartoons. And this isn't to say that there isn't craziness in the show, but when there is, it's mostly because of the amazing characters. The things that work grow organically from the characters because they feel so realistic and end up being people you care about. Even Peggy has her times where you end up sympathizing with her. And at the center of these characters is the man himself, Hank Hill. He is the straight man with a heart of gold. Although there are times where he can be extremely stubborn or hold some pretty archaic beliefs, he consistently shows a willingness to understand someone, and it's why so many people love him. He's a genuinely good man, which is why it's always annoying when he gets pushed to the edge for no reason other than it seems easy to get away with. Some of my least favorite episodes toy with this premise. There's the one where Hank needs to get anger management, operate Hank Le Deluge, the one with the football player, among others. But there's one episode that always gets under my skin, and coincidentally, it's in my opinion the worst episode of King of the Hill. Some of you might have been following my train of thought and can guess it, so give yourself a round of applause if you guessed Hank's Bully. Season 10, Episode 14. Hank's Bully revolves around a new family moving into the neighborhood. Normally this would be whatever, go say hi, all that good stuff, be welcoming. But the kid of the family, Caleb, decides to start harassing Hank for being old as dirt and full of green dust. I honestly never got the green dust bit. Maybe it has to do with Hank working on his lawn? I don't know what kids think anymore. Anyway, the harassment gets to a point where Hank goes to talk to Caleb's parents about him, and this is where we find out that his parents suck at parenting. They don't believe in disciplining Caleb and instead dismiss his actions as creativity, aka they're going to do jack and shit about Caleb. Hank, being an actual good father, takes his bike to teach Caleb some responsibility and some valuable life lessons. This backfires, of course, and Caleb tells his parents, who I assume then tell the cops because they're a bunch of narcs. One thing that always annoyed me was how Hank's friends punked him so hard. Like, I know it's par for the course for them, but geez, they all knew what was happening and they shame him instead. Anyway, this little event gives Caleb the green light to be the absolute worst person, and it forces Hank to go into hiding within his own home. Eventually, though, Hank gets the idea to throw his torment back at the family, using Bobby as a conduit. Bobby goes buck wild on him, and when the parents confront Hank, they realize what's going on, but still don't quite learn their lesson. It takes Bobby ramping things up for them to finally discipline Caleb, and probably move out of the neighborhood, because this is the last time we ever see them. They literally walk out of the show. And that's the episode. There's a side story where Peggy and Dale enter a taxidermy competition, and, with Peggy being involved, they fail spectacularly after grossly overestimating their abilities. But moving on, why do I think this is the worst episode? Well, do I even need to say it? Caleb is a menace to society, and it's extremely grating to watch. This is one of those episodes where Hank was left by himself to deal with this problem, and you really feel for him. Until the end, everyone was mostly a spectator to his torment, doing nothing to help in best case and making fun of him in the worst case. This episode is one of the few that take the strength of the show and make it into a weakness. Caleb feels realistic. I fully believe that this is how a snot-nosed, booger-eating kid would act if he had the chance. Especially with those parents and being in Texas, and forget about it. It's too realistic. I sure as shit wouldn't want to hang out with a kid like that IRL, and it translates to watching him in this episode, and goes double for the parents. It really surprises me that their parenting strategy didn't cause any problems before this, because you cannot convince me Hank was Caleb's first victim. But who knows? Maybe that's why they moved in the first place. And while there was relief at the end with Caleb being yelled at, that was not nearly enough to leave me feeling satisfied. Look, I'm not advocating for them to strike the kid. Maybe a little. But at the very least, he needed to be grounded. It was a slap in the face to Hank, because it was as if the parents didn't factor in anything that Caleb did to him. And Hank didn't harp on it because A, he's a good person, and B, he finally felt the relief of being left alone. It would have been cool to see Caleb randomly in the background of later episodes being normal, to see if he truly grew, but we don't get any of that. Instead, we get a frustrating episode with a trash character and a less than satisfying conclusion. Happy belated 200th King of the Hill. As for the side story, it was decent. Peggy is Peggy, which is usually annoying, but it works well with Dale. I truly believe that one of the best pairings for episodes is Dale and Peggy, but that's not what this video is about. My only real problem with the B-plot was that it wasn't the focus of the episode. It was a side story through and through, so the episode zoomed right through that. Although it would have been fun to watch Peggy and Dale clash and bond over taxidermy. I'll be honest, it was pretty hard to pick a worst episode because there are a lot of episodes I could have chosen. It was really back and forth on the ones I mentioned at the start, minus the anger management episode, Goodbye Normal Jeans, and a couple of others, but I landed on this one at the end of the day. So with that said, I want to hear from you guys. The great part of King of the Hill is that someone's worst episode could be someone else's favorite. So scroll down to the comments and let me know your favorite and least favorite episodes. I do read all of the comments. Oh, and before you go, you might be wondering why Pygmalion wasn't my first episode choice. To be honest with you, I actually liked that episode. It was different and I respect it for that. Plus the sheer absurdity of watching him wanting to be the pig in the family gets me every time. So yeah, don't bombard me with hate, please and thank you. With all that out of the way, if you enjoyed the episode, why not like and subscribe? It's no effort and it helps out a lot. Win-win. And before you go filling your lungs with green dust, don't forget to have a good day.